Hey folks, it's your buddy Fatal Roadie here. I'm going to do a blog tonight about something that's near and dear to my heart, and that's music. Many people that know me will probably tell you that the majority of my brain is compiled of song lyrics. I can list off music off the top of my head like second hand. I've had the opportunity to be associated with quite a few bands, both backstage, on stage, and in the crowd, which, as a roadie, probably one of the more difficult things, because if something goes wrong, you want to just jump out and try to fix it. My buddy Billy and I went to see one of our friends' bands one night, and we kept saying to each other, we're not working tonight. We're not working tonight. Something came up, something broke. Billy jumped up, and I had to say, we're not working. And then something later on happened, and I jumped, and I had to be reminded that we weren't working. But just name a few bands: Frankie and the Actions, Absinthe, Face Down, The Outside, Kings of the Weekend, Grindhouse, Some Bitch, Hate the Toy, Second Sight, and I know I'm probably forgetting a dozen or so local bands. Social Distortion, Kicks, and a couple dozen others. I love music. I think it's not represented as much. It needs to be, like in schools. Pretty much after, well, when I was in school, after middle school, music became an elective. It needs to be a little more prominent in school, because it is. I could be sitting there having the worst day in the world, and probably one of my all-time favorite song, as it might sound, being, you know, I'm so much into rock and roll and everything else, is a classical piece called Clarke de Lune by Claude Debussy. Beautiful piece of music, and I could be having the worst day, about ready to just rage out on somebody, and I could listen to that song, and it would take me right out of it. I almost instantly feel calmer. I used to tell people I listen to anything from Mozart to Megadeth, and that's pretty much true. When I was little, I didn't really have my music, you know, what I liked and what I got into, until I was at least into middle school. When I was a kid, I'd be in Sundays in the garage with my dad, working on his truck. I'd be listening to either country or oldies. When I'd be with my mom, I would be listening to oldies. My sisters, rock and roll, and I would probably call it pop. You know, the Go-Go's and the Bangles, and some rocks like REO Speedwagon and Journey. and I'd hear metal and everything else from my brother. So I was exposed to a lot when I was a kid, and then as I got older and I was listening to the radio more often, I started picking up more bands and listening to, like I said, a little bit of everything. I could go on for hours about different types of music and what my favorites are. Maybe I'll do a list of those at some point. When I used to play football, I'd have a tape player on one side of the tape, which I would listen to before the game was Metallica, Megadeth, Guns N' Roses, stuff that would get me, pumped up and get my adrenaline going. And then after the game, I would flip the tape over, and on the other side was classical music. Like I said, Clarke de Lune, Mozart, Beethoven, killing somebody. And I still to this day, there's a lot of different types of music that are on my CDs. And I keep on my, and you'll have to excuse me, I just had a little bit of a technical issue. But I would I'd listen to anything, and if I liked it, cool. If I didn't, then I didn't, listen to it anymore. I was a big Metallica fan up until shortly after Reload. I think actually Garage Inc. was the last CD no, I can't say that. Garage Inc. was the last CD that I actually liked from them. I unfortunately bought S&M, and I wouldn't even relegate that to my coaster collection. And then I heard a couple songs from their new one, Hardwired, and I liked it. And I broke my my Metallica band for many years. And Hardwired to Self-Destruct, Moth into Flame, a whole bunch of those songs on that CD are actually pretty good. But I think, I don't know. In this day and age, everyone's all into TV and YouTube. Thankfully, if you're watching this, Bluetooth. People need to get a little bit more, I think, into music. Because there's a lot out there that, like I said, can turn your worst day into your best day. And I'm pretty sure everybody has that one song, and makes them feel a little better. We all have that one song that, when we hear it, will bring a tear to our eye. In fact, there's one song that I swear I probably would never perform again. Because it just hits me too close. That's for another story. Excuse me. This is the 14th, I believe, of April. My days run all, especially after I do a bunch of overnight shifts, my days get all kinds of messed up. But next week, April 22nd, any of you all that are in Southern Maryland, you should go down to the Tiki Bar in Solomons Island. Frankie and the Actions and a bunch of other bands are playing for the opening night. It's going to be a good show. I guess that will be my shameless plug for this video. I would have been there if it hadn't have been for a snafu with Uncle Sam. It took my my traveling money out from under me. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it. So, any of my friends that are going to that show, have a beer for me, and hopefully, like I said, y'all have a good time. Probably, I've been a roadie with Frankie and the Actions since 2000. Started off as just working in front of the stage. Then I started as, helping it with the bass tech, loading in equipment, setting it up, keeping the drunks off the stage. Then I was bestowed the title of photographer. And if you check my channel, you'll see a bunch of videos involving the band that I've shot. In a couple of slideshow videos that I'd probably say about 90% of the photos there I've shot, which is why previous video I said that I want to get back into photography. The lead guitarist Frankie said that I had a gift, and I really want to think I really want to get back into it. I've been told quite a few times by many people that I take pretty good photos. And getting off subject. But see, before my employment and my exposure to Frankie and the Actions, my favorite guitarist was Eddie Van Halen. And then I saw Frankie play at a show. This was before I started working with the band, and I was awestruck. I was watching him playing a lot of the songs that I knew, completely different from how I knew him, was just amazing. And it got me back into music, and like I said, Frankie's been my favorite guitarist since then. He's got a channel, Frankie Clark, if anybody wants to look at it. I'll put a link to his channel down in the description. Everybody in that band, from the guys on the stage all the way down to the road crew, are my friends, my family. Frankie, Jeff, who's an excellent bass player, Spritel, the drummer, Mike, lead singer, he also rhythm guitarist. Great guys, wonderful guys. All the way down to the road crew, myself, Billy, Tommy, Randy. The guys in the band affectionately called us the Ramones. One year, as a as a joke, I had dog tags made up for everybody, and had our first names, and as our last names, I had Ramon. And then Frankie and the Actions as our, who we worked for. Our title, front stage, drum tech, bass tech, guitar tech, lights, sound, and then what we drank. Coors Light, Jack and Diet, Bud Light. I think when I made those at the time, I was drinking MGDs. Surprisingly, everybody still has their dog tags. One of mine mysteriously disappeared. I don't know where it went. Somebody at some bar now has one of my dog tags. And the years that I spent with them, probably some of my favorite years. Besides being a roadie, the longest occupation I've had was working in the towing industry. Billy and I would often say probably one of the best tow truck drivers are roadies, because if something breaks, we'll rig something up, we'll make it work. If you have enough duct tape, you can fix anything. I just lost my thought. Tow truck. Some of our favorite shows were Ape Hangers, Memories, the Purple Moose Saloon in Ocean City. And there were nights where we had a packed crowd, and there were some nights where we played for the bar staff. But every night we had fun. And I was exposed to a whole, songs that I've never heard of. It's like, wow, that's a pretty cool song. Then I'd listen to the original, and I'd like it, and then I'd listen to more songs from that band, and I'd end up getting more music from them. So it definitely broadened my musical taste quite a bit. Both with Frankie, Absinthe, all the other bands that I've either worked with, played with, or went out and saw. But I've probably rambled on quite a bit enough on this video. But hope you liked the video. If you do, give me a thumbs up. Hit that like button. Leave a comment about what you think about music, who your favorite bands are, what's your favorite song. Tell me what you think. Subscribe if you haven't. Like I said, I'm starting to make more of these videos more frequently, and I'll think I'm starting to get into an upload schedule to where I'll put these out on a regular basis. But I've been Fatal Roadie. You've been great. Catch you on the next shot.